There's a lot of people in the crypto world who love staking their coins. Why? Because it gives you that sweet, sweet passive income. In this video, I'm gonna give you an overview of the top coins to stake and the one that I personally wanna stake out of all of them. So if you're curious to find out more, then strap in my friend and let's roll the intro. Real quick, what is staking in a nutshell? And if you already know, feel free to skip ahead using the timestamps below. So staking has to do with blockchain networks that use a proof of stake consensus model rather than proof of work. For coins like Bitcoin, which use proof of work, you have miners who buy expensive equipment and use a lot of energy and computing power to solve blocks. For proof of stake, it's totally different. You commit or stake your coins for the right to validate blocks. So instead of electricity and hash rate, it's the number of coins you commit that determines how likely you are to get chosen. And for proof of work networks, if a miner misbehaves and tries to break the rules, they lose the energy they spend doing so. Whereas for proof of stake networks, most of them do something called slashing, which means that you lose your committed funds if you get caught breaking the rules. Generally speaking, it's less complicated to stake than to mine, but it can still be pretty hard to figure out. Now you may wonder, why would anyone want to stake anyways? Well, there's two main reasons. First, because they want to support their favorite project by securing the network and keeping it decentralized. And second, because they want that sweet passive income. Because remember, stakers earn coins when they successfully validate a block. And if you're gonna hodl anyways, might as well put your money to work. Now, before we get to my list of my top 5 staking coins, I want to highlight a super important distinction first, which is delegating versus validating, which are both ways to participate in staking. Because sometimes running a validator node is super costly and complicated. So you can just delegate your funds instead. Basically with that, you just choose someone to lend your funds to, and they do the validating for you and they give you a cut of their rewards. It's kind of like a mining pool where the smaller miners combine their hash rate and split any rewards that they get. Sometimes exchanges also offer staking services for coins that you hold with them. But of course, not your keys, not your coins. Anyways, all of that is just something for you to keep your mind on. And now it's time for number 5. Which would be Polkadot, or its ticker symbol DOT. This is one of Ethereum's top competitors, and it's quite similar to ETH 2.0, architecturally speaking. That should come as no surprise since it was created by Dr. Gavin Wood, one of Ethereum's co-founders. They currently rank top 10 in total market cap, which is impressive because their parachains haven't even launched yet. Now their staking rewards varies depending on how much DOT is being staked across the whole network, but their current rate is around 14% per year with an adjusted rate of around 5%. And adjusted rate just means how much you earn after taking into account token inflation. Becoming a validator for Polkadot is quite difficult though, because you either need to have millions of dollars worth of DOT by yourself or have a bunch of people nominate you with a large enough collective stake. So you should just delegate then, in my opinion. But that's not quite that approachable either, since right now, the minimum nominator requirement is 80 DOT, which is over $2,000. So that high barrier of entry, along with their super long 28-day lockup period, is why I put them at number 5 on my list. Moving on to number 4, which is Solana, or ticker symbol SOL. Now this has been one of the hottest projects of 2021 so far, and that should come as no surprise since it was handpicked by Sam Bankman-Fried and his formidable empire. Solana is well known for utilizing their own proof of history algorithm alongside proof of stake to create their blazing fast speed. As for staking, you need pretty expensive and fancy hardware to become a validator. So once again, I just recommend to delegate instead. Their rewards rate is just okay though, currently sitting at around 6% a year, but then when adjusted for inflation, that drops down to about 1%. That's because the fees from staking providers are super high at about 10% on average. But it still may be good to stake anyways, because if their coin continues to rocket, then it'll be worth it. To get started, it's pretty simple. Just find a Solana wallet that supports staking, and it shouldn't take more than a few steps to get going. The best part is that you maintain control over your funds the whole time. There is no minimum amount like Polkadot has, and your rewards are automatically reinvested. There is some risk of your funds being slashed if your validator acts maliciously, but just choose a reliable one and you'll be fine. Oh, and by the way, they do have a 2-day unlock period before you can move your delegated funds again. All right, you ready for my number 3? Well, that would be Polygon, or ticker symbol Matic. Yep, this is the popular second layer solution for Ethereum. They offer several different scaling solutions, but their most popular one is their proof of stake sidechain. So since it's proof of stake, that means they offer staking. You can stake Matic for anywhere between 520% to 5.2% annual return, and that depends on the percentage of all Matic that's being staked. Right now, since around 38% of all Matic is staked, your annual reward rate would be around 14% unadjusted. You can stake using their web wallet in conjunction with something like MetaMask, whether you want to validate or delegate. Their minimum is quite low as well, just 1 Matic, and that comes with an unlock period of 9 days. They do have a limit of 100 validators though, so it's pretty hard to get chosen, and you might as well just delegate and accept the fee that comes with it. Lastly, they do have slashing as well, so just make sure you choose a good validator to go with, or just do it on an exchange if you want to keep it simple. Up next is number 2, which is Terra, or ticker symbol Luna. This is the project that's focused on creating a global payments network, and to do so, they've designed special stablecoins that are pegged to fiat currencies, but in a decentralized and algorithmic manner. Their native token is called Luna, which is used for collateralizing their stablecoins. But you can also stake it, since they are proof of stake after all. Now, I'm gonna be real here. It was incredibly difficult to find out exactly what their rewards rate is. Literally every site gave me different numbers. Per my best guess, it is somewhere between 6 to 10% per year, and sometimes you see much higher numbers, but those include the airdrops into their calculation. Yep, there's a cool bonus here of staking Luna. You get regular airdrops from their other projects within the Terra ecosystem, like Anchor, Mirror, etc. So that's pretty awesome, and I actually like those other projects as well. Now for Luna, becoming a full-fledged validator is super hard because you gotta be a crypto whale to even compete for one of the limited slots that can actually earn rewards. So you can just delegate instead. It's super easy too, just get their wallet, and it only takes a few minutes to get going. They do have a 21-day lockup period though, and validators who underperform may get some of their coins slashed. So as a delegator, I recommend you splitting your coins among several different validators for the best experience. Now finally, my number 1 coin to stake, and I know some of you are gonna call me out about this, because it is Cardano, or ticker symbol ADA. And you know I've been a critic of this project and not a fan of it personally, but I gotta give them props for what they've done with staking so far. And that is what this video is all about after all. They lead all proof of stake projects in terms of total value staked, which is roughly $60 billion worth at this time, and that comes from 70% of all ADA being staked. Once again, it's recommended to just delegate instead of running your own staking pool, and you can get roughly 6% annual returns with about 1.7% left after adjusting for inflation. Not the best rewards rate, but they do make it super easy to participate though. And also there's no lockup period, you retain full control of your funds, and there's no slashing that you gotta worry about. So it's not surprising to me that a lot of people choose to stake their ADA. Now before I share which coin I'd actually want to stake, I have to point out that there are 2 other ways to make money that are kind of similar to staking, but yet different. The first is yield farming, and that's basically where you provide your coins as liquidity to some protocol, like a DEX, for example, and they give you rewards for doing so. Now, yield farming can be a bit more risky than staking on a layer 1 blockchain because this involves more complex smart contracts and whatnot, but it could also get you way more returns, so you just gotta judge the risk and reward for yourself. The second option is to lend your coins out to people who want to borrow them for whatever purpose. And just like if they borrowed from a bank, you would receive steady interest payment. There are a ton of options for this in both the decentralized and centralized worlds. But I want to give a shout out to Crypto.com specifically because they've been a longtime sponsor and supporter of our channel. You can get up to 14.5% annual return for various coins that they support. I actually personally use it to lend their CRO coin and get steady passive income from it. I highly recommend you check it out, their Earn product, and their other products too. You can sign up using my link down below for a $25 welcome bonus if you'd like. Alright, so out of all the possibilities, which one do I want to stake? Plot twist, none of the ones I mentioned because I want to stake ETH instead. And we can already do that, by the way, but whatever we stake remains locked until the merge happens, which won't be until early 2022 most likely. The rewards rate depends on how much ETH is being staked, and right now it's currently sitting at around 6% per year, even after adjusting for inflation. To run a full validator node, you need 32 ETH, which is around $100,000 right now. And surprisingly, you cannot delegate your ETH like you can with the other projects we mentioned. But you can use third-party services like a crypto exchange to stake for you. But just know that they may charge a high fee to do this. Now, don't go just yet because I have 4 pro tips for you before you start staking. First is that staking often requires running a machine 24/7, so I don't blame you if you want to use a staking service provider instead. But those potentially have high fees and are riskier as well, so just please choose them carefully. Second is please don't just rank all the staking coins by ROI and choose the highest ones, because those probably have zero liquidity and tiny market caps, which means you can't take profits effectively. And they may be manipulated more easily as well, so just keep that in mind. Third is that you gotta keep in mind the lockup period, so if you want to sell something quickly, you might not be able to. That's why I recommend staking coins that you already plan on hodling for a long period of time. And lastly, fourth, is to go check out websites like stakingrewards.com or masari.io for more details about staking coins and what their latest reward rates are. If we take a step back, we can see that the world of staking is quite young, but also growing quickly. As of mid-2021, there's around $170 billion worth of coins staked across the crypto world, according to this report by a company called Staked. So there is a bright future for staking, and it can be a lucrative part of your overall investment strategy. By the way, if you want to learn more about some of the projects I mentioned, you should check out these videos I made about Polygon or Matic and also Solana. Those are my worth the hype videos, so I break down my pros and cons in them. Anyways, I'm Kevin from Coinsider. I can't wait to see you in the next video, and cheers.